And we are back, folks. It is 8:09 on a Tuesday morning here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. Today's show is about raising awareness, interest, money in the Michigan Softball Academy to benefit making strides against breast cancer. It is a department-wide, I think, effort. Certainly, it was started by, the Michigan softball team and Coach Carol Hutchins, who is an unbelievable coach, an unbelievable person. I had a great opportunity to spend some time with her last year, even away from the softball field, and to talk about the things that she's involved with away from the field of play. It makes it that much more fulfilling to be in support of something that she's a part of. And at the same time, the ultimate fulfillment comes from raising money to beat cancer, to help treat the people with it, to help research and find a cure. And that's why Rick Leach is in studio with us today. Ricky, welcome back.
Thank you.
And our next guest is also here, great friend of the show. Awesome coach. If you look at what they were able to do this year, with the team, with some new pieces, some veteran components that have really come a long way in their careers at Michigan. And she's an okay softball player. I'm talking about Michigan women's basketball coach Kim Barnes Arico. Coach, good morning. How are you?
Wow, Sam. Wow. Thank you. Good morning. Was that a positive opening statement? I'm trying to figure that one out.
I said you were an awesome coach, but on the softball side of things, Coach, I think you guys, we kind of saw you a little bit in passing on the field last year, and we aren't great in the field. We're great with the bat. My team is tremendous with the bat, but I got to admit, Coach, for some of the smack talk that we heard last year, we kind of felt that, our team was a lot better than yours.
Oh, my goodness. Sam, I think, we really didn't have an opportunity last year to go head-to-head.
Okay.
But I need, as soon as I leave this room, I'm calling Coach Hutch.
Okay. Well, we shall see. We take on all comers. And, again, as I've been saying, Coach, this is a department-wide thing. We go out there and we see the men's team. We see coaches and family members from across the athletic department really out there participating in this.
Sam, it's incredible. And true story, about 3 years ago to the day almost, I was first hired. And one of my first days on the job, it was the softball academy. So I went to their post-game reception, and they welcomed me that night, and I had an opportunity to meet pretty much every sports head coach and every sports staff and their families. And they were there that night, and they welcomed me, and that was an incredible experience, an incredible night. But it really showed me what Michigan was all about and how connected everyone at Michigan is and how everyone believes in not only the University of Michigan, but what Hutch is doing with this program. So after that night, I was on board 100%, and my staff's on board. But it's a special day.
Yeah, it only takes one time to be a part of it for you to be hooked, and it's like, okay, I'm going to do this as long as I can. And so I'm going to give you the opportunity. This shows you what type of team we have, Ricky, where we allow opponents to come on the airwaves and to raise support for their team. So tell the people who your team is, and if they want to come donate to your team at msoftballacademy.org, they can do it. What's the name of your team?
2 Tickets to Paradise.
All right, so 2 Tickets to Paradise. If you want to support Coach Arico's team, you can go to msoftballacademy.org. You can click that donate button, and you can find her team, 2 Tickets to Paradise, and you can donate to her team. Because they got a ways to go to catch up with us.
Sam, just so you know, I recruited in the off season. I've been heavily recruiting, and I recruited a former shortstop, Mary Morrison, now married to Steve Morrison, who played football. But she's been training us all year.
Okay.
So we're prepared.
Okay. All right.
Awesome. That is awesome. That is awesome.
We shall see.
Now, Sam, if I listen to the tape of last year's tape, And you threw out a few names. Now, was it a few gals from the basketball team that were chiding you last year?
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
you gave the names.
Mel had some things.
I remember.
Yeah, you did.
I remember.
Yes, Mel had some things to say.
Well, Jimmy put
Kim,
me
you
on
have to
notice. He's
understand.
going to give me quizzes when
This
I
is
get
what
there.
Rick does. Rick's an instigator, so just be careful.
Mel talked a lot. Joy talked a lot.
Joy, that was another
Joy talked
name.
a lot. Yeah, we heard it all. That's why I said, Coach, I heard all the talking. I was expecting for your team to be a little bit better than you guys wind up being last year.
We have some new additions. And Megan Duffy, she's a new member of our staff.
Yeah,
She's
Kim, was that
addition.
part of her interview? Can you hit a home run?
And Kim, I'd like to know, I'm curious because Sam and I, since you've been here in the 3 years, has there been any women's basketball players you've recruited out of the Flint area?
Oh, I thought you were going to say I recruited off the softball academy.
No.
I was not sure where you were going with that question.
Well, and I was just wondering because in our day, both on the men's side and women's, the McGee sisters that ended up going to Southern Cal, and there's been some good, and I just wondered because
Deanna Nolan
when you hear
Yes.
Sam talking, if you've been to Flint to recruit, you'll understand where Sam comes from.
That's the Flint attitude.
That is the attitude, Coach.
Okay.
Well, here's what we know, Coach, and we can segue into talking about your team. Part of the future is you guys have a tremendous recruiting class coming in next year. So an influx of great talent, and it's been, your recruiting cycle has been getting better and better every year, and that says something because you've been recruiting well since you got here. Let's start off first talking about the growth that you saw from your team last season, the senior leadership you got, and then we can start talking about what these freshmen are going to bring to the table.
Yeah, we had a tremendous run at the end of the year in the WNIT tournament, and I would really like to thank all the listeners, too, for all their support throughout the run. It was incredible, the attendance that we had at Chrysler, and just the support around the entire community. We were led by 3 seniors. We will miss them tremendously, and their stories are well documented. Nicole Elmblad, Saisha Gori, and Shannon Smith, and they all had wonderful careers here, and graduation is this weekend, so I'm really super excited for all of them, and they're all going on to do really great things. We had a freshman in our program this past year that was 6th player of the year in the Big Ten, led our team in scoring, first team all-freshman team, and second team freshman All-American. Wow. Caitlin Flaherty, young woman from New Jersey. So she's really a special player, a scorer. I mean, just could really shoot the basketball. I'd put her up against Nick Stauskas any day. Okay. That would be a heck of a shooting competition. But our freshman class that is coming in is pretty special. I think the most highly rated class in program history. And we have 2 Gatorade State Players of the Year in Ohio and New York, which are 2 big states in terms of women's basketball. In Hallie Thome, a 6'5" girl out of Ohio, and a girl goes by the name of Boogie, Lauren Brzezowski.
That's
Boogie.
right down Sam's alley.
Yeah, Boogie. Yeah. New York's kind of probably similar to Flint a little bit. They have their swag and their names. So Boogie's a little 5'5" point guard. Who was named a high school, I think, 3rd team All-American as well. So they're head in the class, but the entire class is going to be really special.
We're talking to Michigan women's basketball coach Kim Barnes Arico here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. One of the things that I think has been a staple of your time here is we have seen great growth from one year to the next. Players that are already in the program. It was great to see when all of those seniors left a couple of years ago to see some of your players like Saisha really seemingly come out of nowhere and rise to the fore. When you look at next year's team, I know you want everyone to step up and improve their games, but who are the players that you're counting on to step up into leadership roles next year?
Well, Madison Rostovsky is going to be a senior in our program, and she's a Michigan kid. She's kind of been the face of our program for the last 4 years. I said if we sold jerseys in the store for our women's team, she would probably sell the most. She just has an incredible smile and an infectious personality, and she'll definitely be one of our leaders, as well as Danielle Williams and Sierra Thompson. But in terms of growth on the court, we really need Jillian Dunstan, who was a freshman for us last year, to step up and kind of have that summer going into her sophomore year that a lot of the men in our men's program have had, and really to take those steps to try to help us in the area where we lost Saisha.
Yeah, I was obviously you lose a lot of scoring with Saisha on the low block. Shannon was great on the perimeter. As you look at next year's team, stylistically, is it going to be very different? And where do you kind of see the points coming from? Are you going to have a post presence next year? Is it going to be more up and down? How's it going to be?
Well, I think I got to spend some time with Coach Beeline and kind of figure out how he got through this year, because we might be very similar next year. We're going to have 5 freshmen and 5 sophomores. Mm-hmm. Wow. So it's going to be a super young and inexperienced team, but I think a real fun team. I think a talented team, and I think a team that's really going to want to work and going to want to create something incredibly special inside our program. So towards the end of this year, we tried to change the tempo, and we tried to pressure a little bit more and have our defense create some offensive opportunities. That's why Sam talks about how much he hits home runs. Well, sure. Until he sees our defense on the softball field. But have our defense really spark our offense. And then, with Caitlin coming back and being such a great scorer, and Sierra Thompson, our guards are going to be our strengths, but I think some of our young posts are really going to be able to contribute and be something special.
And Sam, I just wanted to ask Coach, and I'm just curious from a former athlete's point of view, when you have a young team, 5 freshmen, 5 sophomores, how do you determine as you go through your practices and your season, especially for the freshmen that are such good players, but they're just adjusting to come to a school like Michigan, where there's as much competition in the classroom as there is on the court, their time schedules, their workout schedules, their food schedules, and then I assume that you have to just kind of go by a gut feeling at times, how hard to push them, when to pull back. Because I don't care how good you are as a freshman. They've never been through a season grind and a Big Ten grind.
That's a great question, and it's so interesting because Caitlin Flaherty's parents came yesterday to pick her up, and I had a chance to sit down with them and talk about her freshman year. And I remember the first few months she would come in every day to meet with me, and she'd say, man, my parents just don't understand. They don't understand how hard this is. They don't understand how hard this is. She goes, I don't understand. She goes, I never could imagine that it was going to be this much of a grind with everything that you're saying, from the time they wake up in the morning almost to the time they go to bed at night. It's study table and training table and workouts and strength training and school and academics and tutors. So it is a big, big, big adjustment, and we try to support them. And I think there is a super fine line, and I think that comes with experience as a coach, determining how hard to push them without losing them. And if they're not having a great experience, and I don't know if the same is true with boys, but it's definitely true with girls, they have to love it and they have to enjoy it. And you don't want them to ever feel like they're losing the love of the game while at the same time going through the grind of it. So it's a fine line, and sometimes it's push and pull and give and take, and sometimes you might have to give them a day off, even though you're preparing for a big opponent. And as a coach, you go home with the shakes. Well, that's got to be the hardest.
And that's my point. That's got to be the hardest.
Yes.
Is when maybe you can see the will is there, but the energy.
And sometimes less is more. Yes. And I think you learn that as you grow as a coach, and the law of diminishing returns. Yes. And you just have to be smart. And I really believe we try to do that as a program, really push and challenge them, while at the same time having them keep that love and trying to find that balance.
We're talking to Michigan women's basketball coach Kim Barnes-Arico here on the Michigan Insider on Sports Talk 1050 WTKA, online at WTKA.com. She also has a team in the Michigan Softball Academy. This Thursday, her team is called 2 Tickets to Paradise. If you go to msoftballacademy.org, you can donate to her team. if you want. That's if you want to bypass our team, the chest protectors. That's fine. We allow that. We allow that because it's all for the same cause. But I wanted to take a moment to mention, Coach Arico is also a coach on Team USA. So, and this is how many times now is that for you, Coach?
Oh, this is the second year.
This is the second year?
But this is the World Championship, so this is a big one. Having the opportunity to go to Russia this summer to see the best under 19 women in the game. So that's super exciting, and have an opportunity to coach the best players at our age group in the country. And Caitlin Flaherty was invited out to tryouts.
All right, that is outstanding. I was Dawn Staley.
Yep, Dawn Staley is probably the most decorated player in the game of women's basketball, and just made a run to the Final Four. One of the greatest coaches out there. Yes. She's the head coach, and Jeff Walls and I from Louisville are her assistants.
Okay, yeah. So it's going to be a great not only opportunity but experience for you. What did you take away from that experience last year?
Sam, it's always a dream, and I think every kid and every coach has the dream to put on a USA shirt. Yep. And I remember the first time that I put that on, what an honor it really meant to just represent your country. So super incredible. But then to be surrounded by the best players and the best coaches and just have an opportunity to learn. I mean, I think as coaches, you always want to continue to learn and continue to grow. And to be surrounded by the best in the business and have an opportunity to do that was incredible.
Yeah, so, I do want to come back full circle and talk about one more time the Softball Academy and the cause. As much as we talk smack and have a great time, the cause is one that touches us all. And, I know Rick talked about it this morning, family members, friends that have been touched by cancer. I talk about it. Coach, I've heard you talk about it in the past as well.
Yeah, and during the season, my stepmom, who's been a part of my life for most of my life, is battling cancer, and it's an ongoing thing, and she's had numerous kinds of cancer. And just to watch what she goes through on a daily basis and never complains, and just is always has a smile on her face and just enjoys life. And to be able to do this for her and for everybody else that's going through it and battling it is really important, because those people are really the true inspirations, and they make a difference in our life. So as much as we can give back, we really try to do that. Yeah,
so folks, you can as well. We certainly need your support, as I'm sure everyone in the listening audience has been through what we're talking about, whether it's a family member, a coworker, a neighbor, someone has been touched by cancer. And through efforts like this, you're helping them. You're helping others that have been touched. So go to msoftballacademy.org. You can make your donation there. You can find it through WTKA.com. Whatever team you want to give to, whatever person you want to give to, it's all going to the same cause. So let's make it happen. And the 2 tickets to paradise, they really need the help. They really need the help. So go ahead, and I'll say we'll just bypass. You don't have to give to us for the next 15 or 20 minutes. Just give the team, give the 2 tickets to paradise, because they are really struggling right now.
Well, I'll let you handle that between you and Coach. But I just wanted to say, Coach, how proud I am as a former athlete here of your success, what you've been able to accomplish, what a unbelievable great thing it is that you coach with a USA team. And I personally, if you could introduce me, I'd love to take a picture with you and your girls that are there, and I'd love to take a picture with your team.
That would be awesome.
Thank
you.
Let's make sure that's before. You got to do it before.
I'm just a coach.
But you want a smile on her face, right? So it needs to be before the action actually starts, because there won't be any smiles after that, Ricky. There'll be no smiles, man. So you want to see Coach Arico has a beautiful smile. You won't see it.
Oh, Sam, I can't wait. We have been recruiting. We've been recruiting my son's baseball team. I recruited all the parents.
There you go. Yeah.
They are all coming, and you better watch out. I hope you need 2 gloves. You better bring both gloves, because you're going to be in trouble.
I'm ready. Hey, look, my team is ready. And as far as we're concerned, there's just no need for for us to worry about defense because it winds up being a whitewash when we're at the plate. We hit so many home runs.
I would just say in ending it that they all had to beware how bad you took out the Michigan football team last year, correct?
Exactly. See, they tried to pull a trick. They said, hey, we know we can't beat the WTKA team straight up. So let's just go get some student athletes to take them out. And that didn't even get it done. So, Coach, I'm not saying that to intimidate you. I'm just saying that to inform you, to bring you up to speed on what it is you're really dealing with. That's all. Because you should be prepared. You should be prepared. That way we can mitigate the disappointment. We'll be ready to go. But again,
Sam, I'm not sure I'm going to sleep tonight.